The master wouldn't approve.
I'm Torgo, and I came to get down.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Let's Play Manos, The Hands of Fate. Or, as I like to call it, Keep Circulating the Tapes, the MST3K fan game. Now, looking at the title screen, you may notice the subtitle Director's Cut. That means that we are playing the version of the game that has an extra stage, an extra game mode, and what else? Oh, that's right, 8-bit cutscenes. Now right now the title screen is silent, so I'm just gonna go to the main menu here. Now Manos the Hands of Fate is a action game of the platformer type, and it was originally released in 2012 by, I've already forgotten what the name of the studio is. Hang on. Yes, 2012 by FreakZone Games, and then it was re-released in 2015 for the Director's Cut. Now we are playing the Steam version, although it is also available on Android and iOS. I've already beaten the game a few times, so I've unlocked additional options here. Now right here, the grain effect, just puts that kind of white noise on the screen, and honestly I prefer having it off, so we're going to keep it off. So, we're going to start ourselves with a new game. And we're going to just play it on normal mode. Mike, I'm scared. It's getting dark. We're lost, honey. We better try Valley Lodge just for tonight. Mike, it's getting dark. I'm scared. Please find the Valley Lodge. Alright, so we got control of Mike here. There is his wife and his daughter and his dog. I think the daughter's name was Debbie. I don't remember what the dog's name was. Peppy? And for those of you who are unaware, Manos, The Hands of Fate, the video game, is of course based on the Manos, The Hands of Fate movie, which is infamous for being played on Mystery Science Theater 3000 and is, quite frankly, a nearly unwatchable, awful film. And that's part of the reason I called it the MST3K fan game, because this, more than anything else, is a kind of love letter to that wonderful series we called Mystery Science Theater 3000. And I'm getting ruined because I'm talking instead of playing. It's actually a pretty fun little platformer. We control Mike moving around the screen like you see, and he fights with his pistol. We shoot these hand statues to find power-ups, and you see that flashing green hand? That's the Hand of Fate found. Max health increased. We can find those in almost every stage that we play. Collecting one not only gives you an extra life, well, not an extra life, but an extra bit of health. As you can see, we have 4 up in this corner up there. It also heals you back to full health. And the game is full of nods not only to the Hands of Fate film, but to other films from Mystery Science Theater, including a few they didn't watch. Like these snake things we're seeing right here, I actually think they're worms. Uh-oh, and here's our first boss. I am Torgo. I take care of the place while the master is away. You cannot stay here. The master would not approve. So he's our first boss. And all in all, he's actually pretty simple. I can probably just sit here in the corner and shoot. Very well. The master will be very disturbed. And that's stage 1. But the child and the dog, the master would not approve. There is no way out of here. It'll be dark soon. And, oh, what do we got over here? Somebody threw out a perfectly good beaker robot. So now we are in the master's house. And now we get to see some more of the enemies around here. And as you can see, we got some green slimes crawling across the floor. And there are some more squirms. Oh, I should probably mention, we have a shotgun now. The shotgun is a power-up to our normal gun. As you can see, it fires in 3 directions instead of 1. On top of that, it does twice as much damage. And there's a killer shrew. And a screaming skull. Those things are invincible. We can't do anything to stop or hurt them. Now, at first, I would say the game sort of had like a Goonies kind of vibe to it. But the more you play it, the more it kind of feels like a Castlevania game. But there is one game that this really reminds me of. And I'm not entirely sure why, but that's Sweet Home. Sweet Home is another Nintendo game, and it was based on a film, too. Yeah, Ghosts and Goblins? Maybe a little bit. But I don't know why I get the Sweet Home vibe, but I do. Uh-oh, we're getting some slowdown here. Probably because they were both based on films. And Sweet Home isn't a platformer. Sweet Home is a survival horror RPG. It's actually a really cool game. Yeah, I kind of go into focus when I think I get on the harder parts of the game. To the best of my knowledge, nope. No score, no bonuses for getting a high score, other than the bragging rights of having a high score. Found another Hand of Fate. No extra lives for, collecting enough coins or anything like that. Oh, this game is very forgiving in how difficult it is and how often you can find one-ups. Although you want to be careful with the platforming. Platforming isn't as tough as, say, some of the Mario games, but, still want to be careful here and there. It's actually a pretty quick game, too. You can probably beat it in about half an hour. We're going to try to go through it all. And there is the iconic portrait of the Master and his hound. But it's time for our second boss. And look! Torgo has a little shrine to Bile. Now, this boss is actually fairly easy to take care of, especially since we have the shotgun. But he's defeated, and now is where the game kind of goes off on its own. The Master has left this world, but he is with us always. Not dead the way you know it. The Master is with us always. Yeah, now here's where it really starts to get the kind of Castlevania vibe. Including finding one-ups in the wall. Or power-ups in the wall. And some poor astronaut lost his hand. Those skulls, I tell you. Every time. I killed that Nilbog and nobody even saw it. Ah! Up. Alright. There was our first loss of life. Now this game actually has checkpoints depending on what level of difficulty you're playing. So we don't lose a lot of progress. That's one of the ways I say that this is very forgiving. And there's the Nilbog. Now we could go down, but I want to take us up. Not just for that one up, but because there's a little hidden area. Well, I wouldn't call it a hidden area, but there's a special area over here where we get our next Hand of Fate. There's one Hand of Fate for every level. If you collect every Hand of Fate, you get the good ending. For our playthrough here, we're going to avoid getting the last Hand of Fate, because I want to show you, let's call it well, we'll say it's the bad ending, but it's the ending that coincides with the movie the best. More nilbogs. And a gun is perfectly fine to take out a nilbog, but if you have a bologna sandwich, that will work too. In fact, any type of processed meat. I don't know if you've noticed this, but if we have the shotgun power up, we can take an extra hit. If we get damaged while carrying the shotgun, instead of getting hurt, we just lose the shotgun. Ooh, I made it. I do want to try to hang on to the shotgun. Ah! Of course, I say that, I lose it. Because we are getting close to boss number 3. And look at the size of that thing! That bird's as big as a battleship. Now, this battleship bird here has a fairly easy pattern. But he can take quite a bit of hits. And you can see he's getting faster. And I kind of like this boss. He reminds me of something out of Joe and Mac. I love the Joe and Mac, but I don't think I'm good enough to give you guys a really good playthrough of Joe and Mac. Maybe we'll do it sometime in the future. The master wants you. He loves beautiful women, but he can't have you. I want you. Don't ever try that again, you beast. Alright. What a horrible night to have a missing wife and daughter. Alright, now this is one of those stages where the screen automatically scrolls. And we're going to meet some new enemies here, including those moths you just saw. I'm not a big fan of moths, but apparently they also come from a movie that was seen on Mystery Science Theater. I don't know which film that was, though. Like, most of these critters, I can point out which film they came from. And very few of them come from Manos. Alright, there's our shotgun. Now, you may have remembered that we saw these characters on the first stage. This loving couple here making out was actually from the Manos film. Oh, and what do we have over here? Look, it's Frankie, Bounce Bounce, Sniffles, and the Claw. It's the Hobgoblins. I gotta be careful with these guys. See, they knock me right off the platforms if I'm not good. Oh, screens go. Now there aren't a lot of stages like this one, but honestly, I think that they go a little too slow, and this kind of like shadow effect they got going on, I think takes away from it, because half of the fun is seeing all like the little things that they put in here. Alright, now both those hands were 1-ups, but I was only able to get one of them. Now what's that, somebody in the chat? There's a movie about giant moths that also had cicadas or something like that. Well, that's true. The MST3K gang did a lot of movies about giant insects. I do remember the one with the giant locusts. Of course, they did a few giant spider ones. Lots of giant lizard ones. Ah, nuts. Walked right into that. Yeah, Bird Eye Gordon. They did a lot of his pictures. Nuts. Another thing about these stages, they always make me feel like I'm going too slowly. Alright. Let's get rid of bounce over here. Oh, I hear some terrible howling off in the distance. Like some sort of hell beast. Oh, what's this? Oh, Peppy. Who would do such a thing? Well, the answer to who did that is our next boss. And that is the Master's Pet. Master's Pet actually isn't so bad. In fact, I could probably just take it out standing on one end and just shooting. And just jumping when it comes too close. Because we are hitting it when it's off screen. And now it's defeated. And for whatever reason, Mike is getting into a biplane. Not dead the way you know it. The Master is with us, always. And now he awakens. So we're on stage 5, and Mike is flying a biplane. So if I crash, I die. But I can take a few hits before I get killed. This wasn't always the case. In earlier versions of the game, getting hit, period, was game over. So, as I'm sure we all remember that thrilling scene in Manos, the Hands of Fate, where Mike jumped into a plane and flew after his family. I thought it was a very exhilarating and even kind of touching moment. But actually, I would say there was a video game I used to play, I think it was on the Nintendo, called The Adventures of Puss in Boots. And for whatever reason, this is reminding me of that. Because there was one stage where you were playing Puss, and you just got into a blimp. No, yeah, you got into a hot air balloon. For no good reason. Uh-oh, there's that battleship bird again. I'm pretty sure this bird's pattern is still the same. And yes, this bird is the giant claw from the film, The Giant Claw. And Torgo is running interference. The guys at MST3K never watched The Giant Claw, as far as I know. But some fans did a MST, I don't know, parody, homage, where they watched The Giant Claw. And it was pretty fun. So we can keep flying as much as we like, or we can go down to land. Alright, now Mike is back in these caves. More nilbogs. And I kind of get a Mario Brothers feel from this stage. You'll probably see as we get further into the game why the stage, why I have that feeling. Now doesn't this look a little odd? You got this bridge here, you got areas underneath. There doesn't seem to be any way to get there, does there? Well, there is, if we just shoot through those. And we want to shoot through those, so over here is our Hand of Fate. But now you might be asking yourself, how the heck do we get back up? Well, the truth is, you don't get back up. You kill yourself. See, whoever designed this game was very forgiving. I say they were very very nice with the placement of 1-ups. Almost as if there's a 1-up at every spot that could be considered tough. So that way, if you do end up dying a lot, you don't really get stuck. You don't have to start the game over. Was that Beach Party? Horror of Party Beach? No, I don't believe there are any hot dog monsters in the game. But you might enjoy the next boss when we get to it. Careful of those skulls. Ah! Nuts! Oh, let's go back and get our shotgun. Try to hang on to our shotgun. Yeah, so much for that idea. Try to spawn those skulls. Alright, precision platforming. One of the highest tier of gameplay on my channel. Ah. Well, if we wanted to, we could go back and get our shotgun, but I'm not going to do that. No, that would be silly. Alright, but we've made it. Got past the really hard part. Now here's the part that really makes me think of Mario Brothers. Like running around Bowser's castle. Gotta slow down a little bit, gotta enjoy the stage. Probably why I'm getting killed so often. I'm rushing it. Alright, it's boss fight time. Get yourselves ready for this one. You are a human, not a Roman. Roman must kill all the humans. Alright, Roman actually is a fairly easy boss. He just jumps around the room like this, and he bounces off the walls. So as long as you're, fairly close to him, he'll jump over you most of the time. This human is too strong for Roman. You may pass, human. Well, there you go. My dog's dead. Murdered. And somebody's responsible. Alright, now this is a special stage. This stage, to the best of my knowledge, is only in the director's cut version of the game. And look at those those pie tins. Ah, bugger. This is probably one of the tougher stages. I got a few tough jumps here. But in case you haven't guessed it, this stage is inspired by Plan 9 from Outer Space. Let's say an infamously poor film. And I do believe that the MST3K guys watched this, but that was real early. Yeah, see that jump I made by the skin of my teeth. The pie tins that are flying around are, of course, invincible. so I can't kill them. But everything else is okay. And there are more hobgoblins bouncing around all over the place. Squirm. Whenever I say squirm like that, it makes me think of FreakZone. It makes me think of FreakZone when they were doing the Scary Clown episode. And they would just interrupt every once in a while to remind you to scream. And jump. Snuck another pie tin in on me. Ooh, almost got caught there. Alright. There are 2 more hands of fate to grab, so I will grab this one, but the last one we are going to purposely ignore. Reminding anybody else of Mario Brothers? Oh, it wasn't the clown episode? Oh, alright, here are our bosses, the zombies from Plan 9 from Outer Space. We got Thor Johnson over here, and Vampira. They're a little hard to jump over since they're so tall. Thor over here seems to just run from side to side. Vampira, though, she tries to stay with you a little more. And of course, that damnable tin pot, that damnable pie tin. Well, now that Thor is dead, the spaceship is going to speed up a little bit. But Vampira over here should be pretty easy to take care of. There we go. Now, somebody in the stream was just mentioning to us that the Freakazoid episode I was talking about was not the evil clown, but it was the Candlejack episode. And thankfully, I will not get captured by Candlejack and taken away. But I will miss all of the Master's speech. Okay, now if the other episodes were making you think Castlevania, or stages were making you think Castlevania, this stage is going to have you in the Castlevania mood. Ah, there he is. There's Torgo. Torgo's turned off the lights on us, and he's also collapsing the stage. You can see that it's slowly going down. And if we fall, we die. So we don't want to fall. Same point though, we have to wait for the screen to catch up with us. Yes, this is so Castlevania. In fact, I think it's Castlevania 3. There were probably other Castlevania games that did the same idea, but Castlevania 3 is where I remember it best from. Ah! Bugger, got knocked off. But still, we get to start from more or less where we got killed. Go away, crawling eyes. this is actually the last stage. And there's our last hand of fate. I'm going to try to ignore it. Because we want to get the normal ending. The ending that most goes along with the Manos film. But we will take a look at the good ending. Don't worry. All in due time. And there's that very forgiving one-up placement. We got a little bit of a tricky jump coming up here. Oh, did I go too... Oh, I went too soon. Oh, and since someone is asking, we are playing the Steam version of Manos the Hands of Fate. It's also available on Android and iOS. Alright, we've made it. We're at the very top. And we get full health and a 1-up. Uh-oh. What do we have here? Arise, my wives. Give ear to the words of Manos. So here's our boss fight. Or our mini-boss fight, I guess we could call it. These are the wives of Manos. Now they're actually easier to take care of than I'm showing. If you just sit in one corner shooting, you'll be able to take care of most of them. Alright, but now it's boss fight time. You have failed us, Torgo. For this, you must die. And he just burned Torgo's hand off. Manos, god of darkness, the hands of fate have doomed this man. Boss fight time. And he's very Dracula. This isn't so dissimilar to what was happening in the movie. Manos was going around showing off the hands on his robes pretty often, just by doing that, outstretching his hands. He's not actually that bad of a boss, although I am not doing great. Manos, as thou hast decreed, so have I done. Later. I am Michael. I take care of the place while the master is away. Well, there you have it. That is Manos the Hands of Fate, the video game. And we get these awesome credits showing off all the characters in the game. See, the snakes are Squirm, Green Slime, Killer Shrews, Screaming Skulls, almost all of them for the films they come from. They're the Nilbogs. Yep, that ending is more or less the same ending from the film. The film ends with Mike confronting the master, pulling his gun on him and firing, and then cutting to a scene where Mike has now become the master's servant and takes care of the house. And Mike's wife and daughter take the place of the wives that died during the course of the film. It looks like the game is better than the movie. Yes! Yes, it is. So there you go. That was Manos, the Hands of Fate, the director's cut for the PC. I hope you enjoyed watching it. See you later.
Peace, everybody.